I do not believe that just because you're opposed to abortion, that makes you pro-life. In fact, I think that in many cases, your morality is deeply lacking if all you want is a child born, but not a child fed. Not a child educated, not a child housed. And why would I think you don't? Because you don't want any tax money to go there. That's not pro-life, that's pro-birth. We need a much broader conversation on what the morality of pro-life is. These words, spoken by Sister Joan Chittister, a Catholic nun who talks about human rights, war, poverty, impacted me years ago. These words have stuck with me. I think she sums up my position eloquently than I ever could. One of the most controversial issues in our world today is the right for women to choose whether or not to abort a pregnancy. According to abortion facts, abortion is known as the termination of pregnancy by the removal or expulsion from the uterus of a fetus or embryo prior to viability. Abortion seems to exist where human emotions, ethical decisions, and the court of law intersect. There are diverging points of views towards abortion. These views can be broken down into two categories, pro-life and pro-choice. According to Tom Head, a writer at About.com, to say that someone is pro-life is to say that the person believes the government has an obligation to preserve all human life, regardless of intent, viability, or quality of life concerns. To be pro-choice is to believe that individuals have unlimited autonomy with respect in their own reproductive systems, as long as they don't encroach on the autonomy of others. When I think of these two categories, I wonder how you could be anything but pro-choice. Choice implies freedom exists. We live in a country that was based and founded off of that one important word, freedom. According to Amplify, a product of Advocates for Youth, pro-life believers do not support the idea of induced abortion and believe it should be illegal. Many of these supporters don't get that. If abortion was illegal, it would still be performed, unfortunately by uneducated and ill-qualified staff. To prohibit is not to stop. If an impregnated woman wants an abortion, she will find a way to make it happen. This may be in secret, without proper medical care, and likely in dangerous situations. Amplify stated that over 70,000 maternal deaths occur every year because of unsafe abortions. These women die, which seems contradictory to the mission of pro-life movement. According to Pro-Choice Action Network, pro-choice believers support the right to privacy and the idea women should have the choice to do what she pleases with her body. As an example, a woman is raped by a man and becomes pregnant with his child. She decides she doesn't want to keep the baby. She has an abortion because the idea of raising the child of her rapist is too painful to cope with. Pro-choice defenders take sympathies towards her, while pro-life supporters label her as a murderer. Abortions sometimes result in the woman being harassed because of a personal choice she has made about her own body. This behavior is condoned by pro-life supporters. I believe it should be considered anti-abortion violence. These pro-life supporters stalk, threaten, and even sometimes kill women who have chosen to have an abortion. Many doctors who perform these procedures are often victims of violence. This begs the question, pro-life? Again, seems contradictory. The Pro-Choice Action Network informs us that pro-life supporters believe that if a woman is pregnant, she should have the child, no matter the situation. They believe that every child is a wanted child. If women are forced to carry unwanted pregnancies to term, the result is often unwanted children. Everyone knows these children often become society's most tragic victims, often uncared, unloved, brutalized, and occasionally abandoned. Pro-lifers seem to believe these consequences are a reasonable trade-off for saving a life. The mother tells the child they were a mistake or not really wanted. How would that make you feel? When they grow up, these children usually live in a single-parent household with the parent often a drug addict, having little to no resources to provide for the child. And more often, these children are often victims of sexual abuse, which can lead them to a life of violence and crimes against humanity. The likelihood of these children becoming incarcerated dramatically increases as well. Obviously, this is not in every case, but does represent a high majority. Children need loving families who want them and will take care of them. Pro-Choice Action Network supports the 15-year-old girl who loses her virginity and becomes pregnant because she was unaware of the consequences of her actions. The choice of keeping the child would likely result in her getting kicked out of her home and being unable to financially care for her baby. More often, her decision to have the child would likely end her chances of having a good education, while placing incredible stress on her attempting to properly raise a child without having any of the necessary skills or knowledge required. Her choice to have the child could become an irrevocable decision that would forever alter the direction of her life, not only for herself, but also for her child. Having an abortion can also bring on a host of emotional issues, including coming to terms and accepting the fact that she made a decision to terminate the fetus. Pro-choice supports the idea that we learn from our mistakes and that ultimately the girl should be the one to make the decision of what's best for her body and her life. They support the notion of a second chance. I believe everyone deserves one, no matter how old. As a result of going through this life experience, the young girl would gain increased sexual awareness, including knowledge of protective measure to eliminate the circumstance from arising again, an education toward future parenting, and an acceptance of personal responsibility. Having the child would lead to a life of depression and other unintended consequences that she isn't even aware of. I am pro-choice because it is the pro-choice movement that has advocated for policies which actually decrease the need for abortion and which make it easier for women to have children. Some new policies and programs include sexual health education, affordable and accessible contraception, including emergency contraception known as Plan B, prenatal and well baby care, social support for pregnant women and women with children, affordable child care, fair pay for working women, supporting pregnant girls, and gender equality. Comparatively, the pro-life movement has no interest in actually lowering the abortion rate, but rather their ultimate goal is to gain sexual control over women and push their religious powers upon them. Pro-life supporters can't seem to find any benefit to having an abortion. They are ignorant to the reasons why women choose to make the decisions that they do. Pro-choice defends and protects the people. In my view, it's clear. Abortion should remain legal, even if it seems immoral. It can often be the best choice for a woman faced with a very difficult decision. There is one thing for sure. No matter what the eventual decision is, it should be the choice of the woman, nobody else. What's your choice?